Previously on Sell Anything.
Is this company built in a way, could we do 100,000 installs in a year?
I woke up every morning being like, I'm a door-to-door salesman.
That was like the busiest day I've ever had. I got nothing accomplished, and all I did was like navigate through people's feelings.
Well, that was a real quick way to throw a monkey wrench into momentum.
Life is a pitch. It's simply that. It is a pitch, and it is fun. Let's make sure that you're being sold what you want and you're selling what you actually want to sell. I really just love selling. It's the easiest thing on the planet if you believe in yourself. Let's buckle up. By the way, my name's JL. This is Sell Anything.
I can't help but think as I'm hearing you say this, like a common theme with almost everybody who has come on, their upbringing is not fair. Their upbringing is riddled with broken homes, broken families, abuse. Like it's just a common theme of people that all of a sudden, once they have that moment of radical honesty of like, oh, if it is to be, it's up to me. This has happened. I'm doing this. Like, I'm going to figure this out. Like, now, don't get me wrong. Kev's got a great life, but Kev also has had whatever he wants to share. But dude wasn't handed anything. Like, he had to go get it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess perception's reality, right? I could probably frame it in a way where I came from a really broken situation.
Yeah.
I had an amazing family. Like I did, right? My parents got divorced when I was 1.
Yeah.
So I hear a lot of people who go through, I have friends who are their parents are going through a divorce right now in their 40s, and it's debilitating them. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. He's like, dude, you want some help, man? I know how to do this. But I actually my parents got divorced, but my dad played as big of a role as he could from Salt Lake City, Utah. And he was a great dad, and he still is. Yeah. And then my mom is literally the best person in the world. And she's the best. Right. But I've had 9 mom and dad. I have 29 between all my step siblings. I've had 29 brothers and sisters in my life. Like, I could look at that as, oh man, if I would have been raised this way or whatever, but my big thing is I wanted my mom to be happy. Yeah. Growing up, that's what I remember is I just wanted my mom to be happy. And guess what? She was happy. Yeah. She was always happy. She showed us is she was happy. That was the most important thing to me. Number 2, I wanted my dad to be happy. Yeah. Number 3, 4, and 5 is I wanted my brothers and sisters to be happy. Yeah. Everything else, you take it as it goes, right? And maybe that is what, formed me in the way that I work now, or the people that I want to impress now, or things like that. But in my opinion, everything that happens to you could take you in any direction you want it to. Usually when people go off the deep end, they're looking for an excuse to go off the deep end. Like, why would my dad, or why would my mom, or why would something that like wasn't my decision, why would I let that affect my future when it's going to, but let it affect you in a positive way. And honestly, if only good things happen to you, it's very hard to grow. It's very hard to learn. It's very hard to progress and to learn how to handle adversity and all those things. Again, door knocking is
accelerated course.
Yeah, it's an accelerated course of things in business, but you're not going to close every deal. You're not going to keep every employee. You're not going to, win every battle. And so, if every time something doesn't go your way, it's a loss, then it's just, you're not very good at failing. And I know that's like such a cliche thing, but like it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And, my kids have grown up in a way, in a situation, in a home that's very different than probably what I was brought up with, but also very similar too, because my life is full of love. When I was looking for love, I could have also found other things. So I never used it as an excuse, and neither did any of my brothers and sisters. And guess what? They're all amazing, and they're all great parents, and they're all thriving in what they're doing. In fact, I'm the least impressive of all 4 of us, if you ask me. But really, like, my mom is who I give the credit to, and my dad did a great job, and my brother has been a huge influence in my life. I also could be bitter about it too, but there's no one listening who, my kids could be bitter. I don't know what they'd have to be bitter about, but they could be, right? I don't let them be, but they could definitely choose to do it. And they could convince themselves that they've had a really hard upbringing. They could also convince themselves that it's been too easy, probably, but they also are like awesome kids, and they're gonna, and like, I'm going to try to help them be really good at whatever they're wanting to be good at, and things. And hopefully when their parents, they're even better, like they even have more opportunity for their kids. Right. And so, but I use you as an example on it probably weekly still, of resilience and, you know, you deciding what fuels you or what hinders you from where you're trying to go. And, if you're an entrepreneur, which I'm sure a lot of your listeners, I like to call them your fans. A lot of JL's fans are probably entrepreneurs in different stages of their journey. And some of you are not entrepreneurs, so you call yourself entrepreneurs, and that's okay. But if you're easily offended, and if you think you have it harder than everybody else, that's a hard way to be an entrepreneur. I'm just letting you know. And so it's a decision and a mindset. But that's why JL gets to influence me however he wants to, because I respect him so much. A lot of that comes from like his backstory. And I know he doesn't let things out of his control affect his future. And that is a very valuable thing to learn, especially if you're going to be an entrepreneur. If you don't have that appetite, and if you don't have that perspective, then work for someone who does.
Ooh, that was a stinger. Yeah, that's a real thing.
Dude, is that going to make a clip? Dude? But it's true. How many entrepreneurs have no business being entrepreneurs because
they're easily offended?
Because they let things stop them, because the things that are out of their control, everything outside of your control is out of your control. And all of those things play a role in your success or your opportunity. So if those things are going to hinder you, then you shouldn't be the one leading people through it.
Agreed.
You shouldn't. But if you can go through things and come out better on the other side, it doesn't matter. Even the really good things can be sometimes the worst thing that happen for a business, but the really good things are going to propel you, and the really bad things might even move you further ahead if you're following the right person. And if you are the right person, then be an entrepreneur. We need more of them.
100%. So I say this lovingly. I did put the bait out there. He did bite. I wanted to hear him say, perception is reality. And that's exactly where it went. Because this is one of Kev's superpowers, and he just said it, so I don't even have to say anything to add to it. But like, the way you see things is literally what you're going to get out of it. If you want to see how you can make your way through whatever the adversity is, you will find your way through. If you want to see how the adversity can stop you, you will stop. Like, it's the way you see things. Perception is reality.
Yeah, go back to the quote that we kind of started this with of you're only allowed to get offended if it was intended, right? There's especially the young listeners of your podcast. Every one of you you're justified in what's holding you back. You're justified. Like, I feel bad for you, whatever that is, right? But the truth is, do you think that the people in my childhood did the thing, whatever they did that I could look at was negative? Do you really think that they were doing it to hurt me? No. So it just goes back to, but if I let that determine my future, or even like shape it, where it's going to shape it, so you better be conscious about it, and you better use it to your advantage. Otherwise it could shape it in a negative way. But if you let things that other people do decide your attitude, your mood, your excitement level, your optimism, if you allow other people to determine those things, then you have to surround yourself with positive people and good leaders, and please just like follow them, and let them with good intentions help you not get distracted and things like that. Right. You have to force yourself to see things a certain way sometime, because even I find myself at 14-year-old sitting on a beanbag chair listening to Zombie by Cranberries, crying over something that is laughable now.
Yeah.
But at the time, I allowed myself to feel that way too sometimes. I'm not saying I was like always just positive, but like none of those things were against me. So why would I let them hold me back from my future anyway? Right. And if you have stuff in your life that's holding you back, first off, ask if it was actually meant for you to feel that way. If that was the goal of it, then probably just like make sure you get that person out of your life if they're that, vindictive or whatever. But, and then the second thing, figure out how to go to counseling, find a friend, get excited about an opportunity, whatever, but find a way to quit letting it hold you back. And if you can't do it, then surround yourself with people that will carry you until you're at a place where you can.
Powerful.
And we both married up. It's important.
We married
marry somebody better than you. That's
100%.
Sorry, that's actually number one. The person you marry, everyone's like the most important decision you make is who you work with or who you do bit. No, it's who you marry.
Yeah.
Marry the right person, and it is so important. You should both be each other's biggest cheerleaders. There's a million things more that you could say, but if she supports you and you support her, and she's proud of you and you're proud of her, and she encourages you and you encourage her, it doesn't matter even like what you're doing, what's more important, all those things. That's a winning formula, right?
100%.
I have friends that compete with their wives nonstop, and I'm like who wins here? Who's trying to win? Just support each other. We both married the most supportive people in the world that can handle an entrepreneur type of a lifestyle and mindset. That's not an easy thing to do. Yeah. So make sure that you are who you say you are, and you marry what's good for that.
No, it's so true. One of the very first things, I think it was Shy. When Kev recruited me to Vivint, the very first thing that Cheyenne, who we worked with, asked me is like, what does your wife think? Is your wife on board with this?
It's all that matters.
And I was like, yeah. I didn't even have to think about it because she is so stinking supportive all of the time. Like literally, who at 30 after a failed business packs up 4 kids and moves to, where did we go? Dayton, Ohio.
Dayton, Ohio.
And you have to drive to Kentucky because of laws to knock every day. Who does that?
I know.
Only someone with a supportive wife.
I had a rule in my offices. You can see it a mile away with most guys if things aren't good at home, right? If I had somebody show up to like the correlation before we went out and had to go do something really hard every day, if you're not right at home, good luck, dude. Good luck doing something really hard. Good luck getting doors slammed in your face all day long when you left the house. Honestly, any salesman out there, have your wife listen to this for a second. The best thing that you can both do for each other is to don't go out to do something hard when you guys aren't good. And so I had a rule in my office is if you're not good at home, go home. There's no training I could give you that's going to help you more than you going home, make it right, whatever it is. And then get out here and let's go do something hard. Right. But
dude, there was one day that I came into the office. We weren't knocking doors. We were building some other stuff on other campaigns, and Trost could tell I was a little bit frustrated. He's like, what's going on, dude? I was like, Shelly's bugging me. And he's like, did you fix it? And he literally was going to send me home if I hadn't fixed it.
100%.
But luckily I had already fixed it, but I was still just a little fuming from it, but we had already fixed it. But it was like, so did we really fix it? Cause I was still mad, but we're still married for 20 years, Steve. So I think we fixed it.
Yeah, the only person not want to be around you more than Shelly that day was me. I didn't want to.
Yeah,
dude, we need to be in a good. Yeah, dude, we're gonna do some hard stuff today, man. We need everything in our favor.
Yeah,
so
that is a real thing. Who you marry is incredibly important. It is the most important. Yeah, 100%. What other nuggets you got for him? You got one more that you want to send them off?
Oh yeah, so here
sell them on anything.
Here's a sales one. Here's your sales training for the day.
Okay.
If you want to be a good salesman, and it's funny, if you asked me a year ago, I was on a weird, the most important trait of a leader is empathy. Like I just got, because it's a really important trait. I don't know that it's the most important, but for a year of my life, that was the most important. And so if you ask, so my answer to these questions is always different, but I'll tell you the kick I'm on right now. And so, if you're in sales and you want to be able to sell anything, like if you want to be a good salesman, like ancillary of the product, and I'm assuming your product's good, I'm assuming the company can support whatever you're selling, all those things. If you don't know how to create credibility, and if you don't know how to create urgency, then don't be a salesman. Like it is so hard to be a salesman if you don't understand those two principles. And the third I would say is overcoming objections, but it doesn't matter if you can overcome objections if you can't create credibility and you cannot create urgency. It just doesn't even matter because cool, then you overcome all their objections, but you can't get them to do it today. Well, you're gonna have skinny kids, right? Like, so I would say there's a whole podcast on each of those two things, but let's talk about urgency really quick. People listening are all doing different things, but there's nothing that's not better off if urgency is attached to it. There's no business that doesn't need momentum. There's no business that doesn't need that energy, and urgency can create those things. And so learn how to create urgency in your pitch, learn how to create urgency in your company. Urgency is huge, but, hearing that's like, that's okay. What does that mean? How do you create it? Right. And so I'll tell you exactly what anyone listening to, it doesn't matter what you're selling or whatever. This is how you create urgency without us getting into word it this way. And here's how you set it up earlier. And here's how you're constantly creating urgency through your pitch of whatever you're pitching. This is something where anyone listening can apply this and it will create urgency. The more excited you are about your opportunity or your product or your service or your company, that will create urgency. In sales, the more excited you are for the person that you're talking to, the more excited you are. So the more energy behind your pitch, the more excited you get, that is a natural way to create urgency. And when I get excited for you, what sales is it's a transfer of energy, emotion, right? That's what we always hear. And so, well, how do you create that? Well, the easiest way to create emotion is to get excited for what your thing that you're selling is going to do for the person you're giving it to, whether it's for their business or for their home or for their family or for their body. If you're a personal trainer, which I know I look like I probably should be in personal training, but very few people take my advice on their physique, on their physical physique. But if I was a personal trainer, I see so many trainers that are almost too cool for school. And I'm like, who is paying that guy to be their cheerleader? That's the last person I'd let train me. If you're a personal trainer, all you have to do is understand, listen to the person you're talking to, hear what their goals are, and get excited with them and for them to help them achieve their goals. Who's not signing up for you? Wait, you understand where I'm going and you're getting excited for me for when I get there, but you're also getting excited because your program can take me there. So you're excited that this is a good fit. This makes me want to do business with you. That's urgency, right? Yeah. And so, the advice I could give for anything anyone is selling is understand how to create urgency. It doesn't matter what you say or how you present it. If you don't do it with energy and emotion where you're generally excited for those things, it's almost impossible to create it. So whatever you're doing, insert energy and excitement into that thing, and it will naturally create urgency. And you don't even have to be a very good sales. You don't have to even understand your product. I promise. I'm one guy, JL, I'm a guy where
I'm only laughing because literally if you ask him a technical question, usually he's like, I don't know, but it works. But there's so much excitement behind it. They're like, okay.
I don't need to know everything about it. I'm the type of salesperson that I will probably sell the same amount of something the first day I sell it that I'm going to sell it 2 years later, because it's not, I never sell a product. I'm selling the person that I'm talking to. Right.
Yeah.
So I'm really jealous of the type of salesmen that just always are getting better. They'll pass me up every time at some point. If they can keep getting better, they will pass me. I don't feel like I get much better because it's not about what I'm selling. It's usually about the person that I'm selling to. Right. And so, but I'm an emotional salesman and I'm an emotional guy too. And so like, I just understand whatever you had me sell today. If I can understand how that would benefit you, how that would fix your problem, how that would make your business run more smoothly, how that would increase your confidence, whatever it is. And then I have a solution for that. Even if I don't understand the solution fully, if I have a solution for that and I'm excited about the potential to solve your problem with my solution, I'm probably the first person that's approached you that way to fix your problem in a long time. And most likely you're going to, and then it's up to me if I'm likable and if I'm trustworthy enough for you to trust what I'm saying and then like me enough to do business with me. But it doesn't matter if they like you, if they don't trust you. No, I hate that training actually. If you're not excited about fixing their problem from both ends, I'm excited because what I have can fix that for you. And I'm excited for you that you finally found a fix. That is sales. That is the actual transfer of emotion that it takes to actually sell something, in my opinion.
Okay. So that's urgency. Give us credibility. How do we gain credibility?
Yeah, credibility. So credibility. So some people are lucky enough to, work somewhere where everyone already knows who you are, what you do, things like that. A lot of people, especially entrepreneurs, if you're starting out something, nobody knows what you are or what you do or who you are, if they should trust you or whatever, right? Which is part of the reason why everyone says get super narrow when you start something, even if it can do all these things, get narrow. The reason they say that is because it helps create credibility. It's very hard to create credibility with everyone, even if it can do that for everyone, right? But you can create it and then you can get momentum somewhere because of credibility, right? So if you don't know how to present yourself and your service or product or your tech or whatever it is that instills that they trust that it can do what you're saying and that they want to do business, that they would trust whatever it is that you're fixing, that they would trust you with that, then they're going to want to think about it. They're going to want to talk to their wife. They're going to want to talk to their business partner. They're going to want to look at other options, because anytime somebody tells me that, two things didn't happen. You didn't create urgency and you didn't create credibility, right? If you have a problem you're trying to solve, if I can solve it and I don't sell you on it that day, that means I missed out on one of those two things. And so, don't forget that people don't know why they should work with you. And they need to feel comfortable. So you can do that through that's why referrals are so good. The referrer creates that credibility for you. And if I don't have to do that in a sale, I don't have to be a very good salesman to get you to do business with me, because somebody else created the credibility. You can do it through, associations. You can do it through, your website. You can there's a lot of ways that you can create credibility. But if you're a salesman and you don't know how to create credibility, go talk to the person over you who trains you and ask them to say, hey, I feel like I need to create more credibility in my pitch. Help me do that. And if they're good, they'll know what you're talking about and they'll help you do that. Right. And so, but usually if you don't know how to create that in the first 30 seconds, and if you're not consistently creating urgency throughout your sale, whatever that is, then you're going to have a lot of go backs. Then you're going to have a lot of follow-up appointments because you didn't do those two things. But if they trust you can do what you're saying you can do, if it solves their problem and you have given them every reason to make that decision today, then you can sell anything, right?
Anything. 100%. So, and here's the cool thing. If you have urgency and you have credibility, you don't really have a ton of objections, because one, they trust you, and two, you're excited about it, and they're excited that their problem is going to get fixed. That's all they're looking for. So it's super simple.
One more thing on credibility.
Yeah.
I don't like to do business with people that are kind of good at something.
No.
I don't want people want to be excited about the decision that they make, right? I don't want average anything. I just don't.
Right.
Most people don't. Most people aren't going to pull the trigger when they think there's way better things.
How was it? Average.
Yeah. So, hey, I'm going to set you up with a girl. She's a 5. Are you excited? You know, it's the same thing. Like nobody wants to be a part of. You're going to like this.
Okay.
Small plans don't have.
Make no small plans. They have not the power to stir the hearts of men.
For real, right? I want to stir the hearts of men, right? Yeah. So if I want to stir the hearts of men, I better be excited of what I'm doing, and I better be all in on what I'm doing, right? And so you have to establish yourself with whatever you're doing. You have to establish yourself as the expert in that thing for people to want to do business with you. That's like that's like 101. And it sounds like common sense, but I see so many people selling things, and if they don't know everything about the product, they're constantly apologizing. They're telling people they're new at this. They're giving themselves every out. But what they're really doing, they're just showing no confidence, but they're making it very hard for the person they're talking to do business with them. And so you have to establish yourself as an expert in whatever it is that you're doing. That is called creating credibility. Right. You do that by, don't be apologetic. You do that by, understanding who you're talking to, who you're selling. Really becoming an expert in what you're selling most of the time is understanding who you're selling to and not being surprised and not having to answer, I don't know, let me find that out and I'll get back to you on that one. Well, know what they're going to ask you and be prepared with those things. That's how you establish yourself as an expert in something. And people want to do business with the best of something. That's most of us do, especially if it's for our family or for our business or for our health, right? Like, if you're not the best at it, I'm not interested. And the only way that you're going to get me to do business with you, if you've convinced me you're not the best of it, is if I don't have the money to pay the best and you're cheap enough to where it's better than nothing. Right? That's the only way you're going to get me to do business with you, is if that's where I'm at when you approach me. And so, but if you are the best at what you do, or you can at least make me think that you are, then I'm going to be comfortable doing business with you if what you're offering me actually solves my problem.
Yeah. And the reality of it is, in the beginning, you're going to suck. In the beginning, you will not be the best, but as long as you're honest and you're like, hey, I'm doing this, and you're excited about it, that enthusiasm will carry you through that learning curve when the credibility is on this big.
Yeah. You don't have to lie to people. And hopefully that's not what this sounds like. There is the act as if principle that I love and I talk about it all the time, but it's
in that book right there.
It's in every book right there, probably. Right. And so a version of it, because the truth is you're never going to know everything anyway. But you don't have to tell people, oh, I've been doing this for 10 years when it's your first day. That's not what I'm talking about. That's not act as if, but you can have enough confidence in something that you're selling. Mm-hmm. Hey, I'm actually pretty new here, but let me tell you why I'm working for this company. Mm-hmm. I see what this does for businesses like yours. I know what it will do for you if you implement it. And guess what? I don't have a lot of clients right now. And so as I get better at this, I'm going to make sure that your account is the one that I'm most proud of. Yeah. Right? Like, you don't have to lie to them to be who they want to do business with, right? So true. And you don't have to tell them that you know all the answers either. I love the answer of I don't know. I hate the answer of I don't know, so let me stop the sale. Right. Right? Like that's not the way you answer that question, but there's ways to do it. There's a lot of different ways to do it in any industry that you're in. But if you don't have 100% confidence, if you can't have it in yourself and your own knowledge of whatever it is you're selling, have it in something that is the real thing that they're buying. Right. Hey, I don't really, give me anything and I'll
we used to play this game on the Mish.
I love it.
Tie this thing to a principle.
Yeah. So give me any principle and I'll show you how I would do that for that thing.
Okay. So if you're selling, what's something that we have never sold?
Yeah.
Let's see here. Kev, we've sold everything.
We've sold a lot of stuff.
Which ones? Have you sold a timeshare?
I've never sold timeshares.
Let's go timeshares, baby.
Okay, so how would I and do you want this to be my first day on the job? Okay. First day on the job, how do you act? How do you instill that confidence in the customer you're talking to?
Okay.
So here's probably, and again, just because I just said this is the route I'll go. There's a million ways to do it, but I would, I'm selling you, JL.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. JL.
Yeah.
We've been talking for 20 minutes. You like to travel. You have a family.
Yeah.
Your goal is to create memories with your family. And I actually think that's awesome. And I think that you can see that aligns with what I'm offering you today. But I want to be honest with you, JL. Today's the first day that I'm doing this job. It's actually my first day. But can I tell you why I chose to work for this? Sorry, I can't even think of a name of a
For Dreams Travel.
for Dreams Travel. Can I tell you why I work for Dreams Travel?
Sure.
Okay. I love to travel too, JL. And throughout my life, I think back on every good experience, every good memory I have involves travel. It actually, like, that's where my memories come from. And so I've always wanted to be in this industry. So I've been very aware of this industry for a long time. I wasn't just looking for a job. I wanted to find a place that I could start a career, because this is what I love and this is what I want to do. I want to help families create those memories. I want to tell you why I chose Dreams Travel Agency. Okay. I talked to every company that I could think of that offers what Dreams does. These are the 3 reasons I love Dreams. And then I would just have 3 things, get it off their website if you need to, but 3 things that you believe you can have conviction behind. They answer every call. They have the highest 5-star rating, that whatever those are. For any company, it's going to be different, but I would have 3 things about that company that made me want to work for this company. And then I'd say, like, look, you've probably had this opportunity 50 times. I'm probably not the first person that's talked to you about timeshares, but at the same time, every day that you can't find the right fit, you're missing out on opportunities to make those memories with your family. And so, John, I'm going to make a deal with you, dude. I already did the homework. I wouldn't be working here if this wasn't the best company at what they do. So I promise you they're good, right? They're not all the same either. I promise you they're not all the same, because I used to think that until I interviewed with these guys. But let me make you one promise. And then I'd guarantee them something. I made them an offer that they can't refuse, as Hermosi likes to say, right? And then I would close them, right? Yeah. And so I didn't lie about anything. In fact, I would go talk. I wouldn't just work somewhere because it was the first job that got offered to me. I would go fill out the industry. I'd understand my competitors by the first day that I was there. And then everything I just said there would be very, very honest. And if I can't find 3 things that I can vouch for this company, then I shouldn't be working for that company.
Valid.
Yeah. Right? So if you're working for a good company and you're willing to put your name on the line, then borrow their credibility and base it off of that. That is one way of a million to do the principle that we're talking about, but that would work. And if you're a person that's actually thinking about, if I've done a good job of like creating that emotion through the first 20 minutes, that'd be a great way to close somebody. I wouldn't buy it. Because I don't want a timeshare, but I would also probably, that's just not my thing, right? But at the same time, like,
at least he's honest.
Yeah, but I wouldn't buy from me either. I'm just joking. I'd buy from me every time. I'd buy from you, JL. JL just gets, I'm telling you, that's why you're such a good salesman. It's like you get genuinely excited for people when they find what they're looking for.
It is exciting, man. It's exciting to see the light bulb go on in somebody's mind where they're like, oh, that will fix this problem. Yeah, dude, it will. And let's do it. This is cool.
Can I talk about your podcast for a second?
Sure.
I saw that you're doing a podcast and I was excited. I used to have a podcast.
You did? Blades of Steel. Look it up.
It's Blades of Steel. It was awesome. Yeah. I only missed one episode, and it was the episode we interviewed Puka Nakua.
Oh,
get out of here!
Of the year.
Why'd I miss that one, dude? I like Puka; he's cool. Yeah. But no, but when you told, I was like, well, why are you starting a podcast? And you got excited that it was going to help a lot of people. And that made me, I was like, dude, let me know when you want me to come on. I would love, dude, I love that. Right. Yeah. So like your excitement is what draws people to you. It's also, you generally get excited when you help somebody. And that's why I love working with you. And that's why I hope we work together 100 more times in the future, is because your energy is contagious, but it's not just JL. It's anyone can have that for whatever
100%.
they're doing. And if you're a person that people love to work with, you probably have great energy and you're probably a pretty positive person, or you just get such good results that like it's undeniable on the other side. But just be pleasant, just be excited for other people, have good energy, and opportunities will come.
100% they do. So on that note, I keep thinking, so a big part of credibility is nothing more, in my opinion, than integrity. Like, I can't tell you how many days Kevin and I would like, he just does the little things. We do the little things, like making sure you're going to the gym, making sure that, and sometimes on our food, sometimes we eat zebra cakes. It's fine. It's not a big deal.
Sometimes we eat zebra cakes every day. At least we're consistent. That's a whole nother lesson.
Sometimes we eat a whole box of cereal every night. Like, there's sometimes, however, but the point of that is, if you're doing what you say you're going to do and you're holding your commitment, one thing Kev would do that I would never get on board with, but it shows where the credibility comes. Because if you have credibility with yourself, it's transferable to other people because they can see that you're in integrity. They can see you're in alignment and what you say you mean. Dude, homeboy would turn the water to cold in the shower before hot, cold shower things were, or whatever. I hate him. I'm not doing it. But Kev would do it every morning. He would just turn the water to cold before he'd get out. And it's one of those things that gives him an edge. And that credibility comes from you being able to trust yourself, in addition to the cool things that he shared about building credibility in a company.
It's funny you say that. Now that cold plunging is a thing, I actually don't like it. Yeah. But I still, whenever I take a shower, it's the same thing. It's like, at the end of my shower, I turn it cold and I do 100 calf raises.
That's why he's got great calves.
I really do. And I've been doing it since I don't even know when I started it. It wasn't
teens, man.
Yeah. I was probably 18 or 19 or something, but it's that principle of, I don't have to turn it cold.
Yeah.
I don't have to, like, as an entrepreneur, you don't owe it to you owe it to yourself and your family and everyone depending on you, actually. But you also, like, nobody's forcing you to go talk to one more person or knock one more door. So let me put it in sales terms for everybody. So I had a rule for myself. It was one more door, right? So when I was done, no matter what, it didn't matter if it was, when I was done, then I would think to myself, one more door. And if I said no a couple of times to myself, I didn't owe it to anyone, right? Mm-hmm. But I didn't knock one more door. And the whole drive home, I was miserable. I wouldn't sleep. I honestly, I let myself down. And you know how much easier it is to knock one more door and get a win from that than think about it, not do it, and then know that you kind of let yourself down for 24 hours. Dude, do that 2 times. So anyone with whatever you're doing, you could call one more person at the end of the day. When you're ready to go and you're in a hurry, it doesn't even matter. There's always an excuse not to do this. That's the best part. There's always an excuse not to turn it cold. I hate it every time. And whenever anyone's like, oh yeah, but it's easy for you to go knock on a door. I'm like, are you kidding? No. It is just as hard for me as it's for you. And think about how hard it is. I'm not willing to tell myself I'm not willing to do it. Right. Yeah. And so one more door is whatever you're doing, one more rep, one more, but, I remember when I'm working out is a great example of this. I had a goal to do 1,000 miles in a year running, and I'm not a runner at all.
You did do it.
And this isn't a David Goggins thing at all.
Your bubbles.
I had a big poster on my wall with 1,000 bubbles, and each day I'd
remember that assistant that helps him with his emails. She made the bubbles.
Yeah, she made the bubbles, and I would fill them in. But each bubble would have and if I did 8 miles that day, then I could draw a picture on 8 of the bubbles. It was a way to visualize my goal, right? But I was really proud of it too. It was awesome. It gamified it for me. But my favorite part about that year, I don't even care about that I hit the goal. I actually don't. Every day I would be like, okay, I got to do at least 3 miles. And I'd get on and I'd do 3 miles. I promise, or today I got to do 6 miles. Whatever number I told myself, I would do it. And then I would think, okay, I can stop. And then I would think, or I could do one more. And I promise you, even if I was behind and I had to do 8 miles that day, that 9th mile was the easiest mile because I was choosing, even if it was just between me and myself, I gave myself the out and I chose to run the last mile. I chose to knock one more door. I chose to make one more call. That's the difference to me between the really, really good salesman and then the one that for somehow has 200 more sales than the next best one he's already the best. What makes Tiger that? Tiger's like my favorite example of this. Tiger isn't just the best. He is like the best for a long time with distance. I love distance. Like distance is what impresses me. There's always the best. Every industry, everything that you're measured on, there's the best of it. But when there's outliers because they've created distance between them and everyone else, then that's like legendary status, right? Those are the GOATs. Tom Brady didn't just get the most Super Bowls. He put it out of reach, right? Mm-hmm. Tiger wouldn't just beat you. He'd beat you by 14 strokes. How do you beat the next best golfer in the world by 14 of anything? I don't know, but he wouldn't take his foot off the gas, and he could have just won by 10 and it was still the record. So what made you win by 14 is because he never let himself off the hook, right? And so if you're in the stage of your business where you're in growth mode, and then whatever it is, just do one more. And then if you don't do it, I don't want you to sleep tonight. You don't deserve to sleep tonight because you told yourself, I should do one more, and you didn't do it. I don't care what your win or your losses were that day. You shouldn't sleep tonight. It should bug you that bad that you let yourself down. If you can get there, you're going to be able to push yourself to like whatever it is you want to do, right?
On the flip side of that, though, you'll sleep like a baby if you just do it.
If you just do it,
one more, and
even
you get
if
to sleep
you don't
like a baby.
I probably in a summer of 108 knocking days, I bet I got 50 extra sales by doing that, right?
Oh, 100%.
But the nights when I didn't get the sale, it felt just as good.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it would make me knock 3 more because I really still wanted a sale, right? But it got so much more out of me than what was already considered great or whatever, right? Yeah. Like in certain things. But for me, when people ask what let's end with a story.
Okay.
People always ask me like, what was your best day selling? Right. That's a common question you'll hear. Yeah. I'm going to tell you my best day knocking doors, and this will be a good one to end on. So
can I guess?
Yeah.
Is it in Dallas?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know it.
Yeah.
Because this happened in 2008. Yeah. This is my best day selling. Yeah. So I was a rookie. It was my first year at Vivint. I still didn't even know what I was talking about. I was just running around. I was working really hard. Right. I didn't know how to sell what I was selling yet or whatever. But I was working really hard. Anyways, Saturdays are the big days because everybody's home. And so there were 4 Saturdays in a row where I sold 7 on that Saturday. And 7 for a rookie is like, a lot. Yeah, I mean, it was really good. But I was like, I want to do 10, right? I've never done 8, but I want to do 10. And so all week, 4 Saturdays in a row, 7, 7, 7. So all week I was just building it up, and I wasn't sandbagging at all. I wanted it to be legit. And so, I wasn't like setting up appointments. I was just all week. I was like, Saturday, I'm doing 10. Saturday, Friday night. I remember Friday, I actually had a good day. I think I did like 5 on that Friday. And so I was like, okay, I got momentum. I know this area. I'm on a roll. I'm going to wake up I'm going to start knocking at 8 in the morning, and I'm just going to go to people doing yard work. Because 8's a little too early for me to knock on a door. I don't know. I'm okay knocking you at 2 in the morning. I'm not okay to wake you up. Mm-hmm. But if you're outside, or if your garage is open, if there's garage sales, I was like, dude, I can pick up 1 or 2 before 10, or before 9. And then at 9 o'clock, I'm just going to start knocking. And I'm not even going to bring a lunch. I'm going to fight through it. And I went to bed early on Friday. I woke up early Saturday. I worked out. It was the most perfect morning routine ever, which morning routines are the most, well, that's another discussion. A morning routine never isn't the reason why your company is successful, but that's okay. I had lunch. I actually had dinner with Hermosi before he told me his whole plan of what he was going to do. And I remember at the end of it, I was like, man, whatever I can do to help you, let me know. I'd love to help. Yeah. like helping Hermosi. But he told me his whole business plan. And then he literally executed every piece of, I watched him do it. I'm like, oh gosh, this guy I'm not impressed by his business plan. Mm-hmm. I'm impressed by his execution. He told me exactly what he was going to do. And then from afar, now I'm a fan, dude, but I watched him execute every piece of it. He's the king of common sense. I say, like, he's brilliant. and he says it in such a simple way. I know he understands those principles, but his execution is unmatched. It's amazing. But it's funny. I reached out to him and I was like, hey man, I'm not even trying to bug you. Like you might not remember that we had dinner together before you started. I just want to send you a Christmas card, man.
Yeah.
Because I have a Christmas card we send out every year, and I send it to only the people that I love, right? And he didn't send me his address. Sucker. Anyway, so 8 o'clock comes. I'm already in my area. I'm talking to everybody. I'm getting close, but nothing cool. 9 o'clock comes. I don't let it get me down, and I'm like, okay, well, I didn't get the head start I was looking for. There's still more than enough time in the day to get 10, right? And so I start going, and then 10, 11, 12. It's 12 o'clock, and I don't have a sale. And I'm just like, okay, no, it's fine. I'm resetting. There is still time to do 10. Mm-hmm. By about 4 o'clock, and I didn't take a break. And I'm not, when I say I didn't take a break, I'm saying like I did not even take a breath. I was working every second, I promise. 4 o'clock came around, and I was like, okay. It's okay. I'm probably not going to hit time. There's probably just not time in the day to do what I set out to do, but I can do 7. Yeah. That's just what I do. Let me go back to something I know. I know how to do 7. Let me do 7 and go. By like 8 o'clock, I still didn't have a sale. And now fear sets. I don't care who you are, dude. You're just like, am I going to bagel? In fact,
on a Saturday?
This will be my first bagel of my career. And it's the day I was convinced I was going to do 10. And when I convinced myself I'm going to do something, part of it is I talk a big game because I want everyone who knows me to hold me accountable to what I want to do, because I'll take every advantage. So I'll tell everybody about what I'm doing. So I'm pretty sure I wrote a letter to a competing office about how I was going to single-handedly beat their entire office that day. I'm 99% sure I wrote that letter. And I think I know I wrote that letter. So I wrote a letter to another office challenging their entire office, me versus them this Saturday, and I'm going to beat them. So I'm sitting there feeling probably a little dumb about that. Right. Mm-hmm. But I was like, you know what? I am not going to drive home today without a sale. I'm just not going to do it. And it got dark around 9. I remember the house that I was walking by, and at this point it was so late that I was only talking to people who had lights on. And I walked up and I did a pitch, and one thing that I will not do is give a bad pitch. So, it was a good pitch. Like it wasn't, I wasn't deflated. I wasn't defeated. She would have never known I just had the longest, hardest, roughest day of my life. Right. Cause that's not fair to her, and that's not fair to the pitch. Yeah. And I got it. And I got it same day. A technician came. A technician got there after midnight. And I remember she said, well, my daughter's having a slumber party. I don't know if I should call the police, or she's like, but I do kind of want this. Yeah, I think I'm going to do it. And then I had to talk her into getting it installed that night, because I wouldn't count it as a sale unless it actually got installed. Yeah. But driving home that night was the best feeling I've ever had. And I've never been able to recreate it, actually, because I always get sales. But I'm just joking. No, but I've never been able to recreate it, because I was more proud of myself for that one sale than the other however many sales I sold that year. I promise you, that was the one that gave me more confidence. That day I got more confidence, and it was actually probably the worst day of selling of that whole summer. And so, but it just shows I'm constantly challenging myself. I'm constantly gamifying things, and I don't give myself outs. And usually when I'm done, I find a way to do a little more. And that's like where I get my strength from. Like that's where I get my actual confidence from, is that I'm willing to do one more, even when I was ready to stop. Right.
Okay. Yep.
So,
and it's easy to lead people when you're leading yourself. Super, super easy.
I wouldn't want to lead somebody who I was more resilient than. It would be hard for me to follow them. It just would, right?
Yeah, I agree. Well, Kev, thanks for coming on, dude.
Hey, this is awesome. This is a great podcast. I love what you're doing.
Thanks, dude.
And I love what just happened. I love it, dude. Well, it's good. It's
dude, my boys mock me for it.
Of course they do.
Mock me like it's
because haters are gonna hate, dude.
Oh yeah,
Riker, man, that guy's always hating. But no,
he's the one that's like, I wasn't mocking you.
Yeah, dude, you're doing a good thing, and a lot of people need to hear this. And it's coming. You're not trying to take anything from anyone. You're just trying to provide. You're trying to provide not just content. You're not trying to get click. You're trying to you're trying to provide something that's worthwhile to the people listening, and it's genuine, which is why I know this is going to succeed. So congratulations.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
All right. Love you, dude.
Love you, dude.